Imagine yourself faced with a question that has challenged humanity for centuries: divorce. A topic that even today sparks heated debates and stirs deep emotions. Now, consider how this issue is addressed in one of the oldest and most respected sources of wisdom, the Bible. At this moment, let's embark on a journey together to explore whether the Bible ultimately permits or condemns divorce. Is the breaking of a marriage seen as something morally wrong? Or are there circumstances in which divorce may not only be allowed, but even advisable? Throughout this story, we will uncover not only what the Bible says about divorce, but also how, when inevitable, this separation should be carried out according to the Scriptures. Prepare yourself to discover a perspective that may change the way you understand marriage and separation. Welcome to a journey through the sacred pages to understand what divorce truly means in the eyes of God. Now that we have raised the issue of divorce, let's seek answers where they were recorded thousands of years ago, in the Bible. Our starting point is the book of Deuteronomy, one of the 5 books that make up the Torah, the foundation of Jewish sacred scriptures. It is here, in Deuteronomy, that we find the first clues about what God says regarding divorce. This ancient text offers us a glimpse into how the Israelites dealt with the dissolution of marriage at a time when divine laws guided every aspect of life. In chapter 24, we come across a specific passage that addresses the situation of a married man who, for reasons we will soon explore, decides to separate from his wife. This is one of the most significant moments in the Bible concerning divorce, as it establishes the foundations of when and how this separation can occur. But what exactly does this passage say? And how does it connect to the moral and spiritual issues surrounding marriage? By exploring these ancient words, we begin to understand the circumstances under which divorce was permitted and the profound implications this had on the lives of those who lived under these laws. Prepare to discover how these ancient guidelines have shaped the view of divorce over the centuries. Now that we know where the Bible mentions divorce, it's time to delve into the exact words that shaped this practice millennia ago. In chapter 24 of Deuteronomy, we find a passage that at first glance may seem simple. However, as we explore it more deeply, we uncover a complex web of morality and tradition. The passage presents us with a specific scenario. A man marries a woman, but over time, he discovers something in her that deeply displeases him. But what exactly could be so troubling as to justify the end of a marriage? The answer lies in the words the text uses, because he has found some uncleanness in her. This term, uncleanness, carries much more weight than mere physical appearance. In the biblical context, it refers to the revelation of immorality, a behavior that transgresses the sacred values of marriage. To fully understand this expression, we need to compare it with other parts of the Bible, such as the book of Leviticus. There, the same word is used to describe the act of someone who has violated marital fidelity by engaging with another partner. Therefore, what is at stake here is not simply the loss of attraction or the natural wear of a relationship, but a fundamental breach of trust and commitment. When a husband discovers that his wife has committed infidelity, the weight of this discovery opens the door to divorce. But not just any way. The biblical text establishes that this process must be conducted with seriousness and formality. By writing a certificate of divorce, he not only dissolves the marriage, but also fulfills a moral and religious obligation, freeing both to pursue new paths. Thus, in this interpretation, we see that divorce is not merely an escape from a troubled marriage, but a necessary response to a grave transgression. And it is here that we begin to understand the profound seriousness with which the Bible treats this subject, offering a solid foundation for the practices that would follow in the centuries to come. Having uncovered the moral foundation that permits divorce according to the Bible, let's now explore how this process was carried out in practice. Divorce, according to the Scriptures, was not an impulsive act or something done casually. It required a formal, carefully structured procedure reflecting the seriousness and weight of the decision. At the heart of this process is the get, the document of divorce. Unlike a simple verbal declaration, the get was a written record, something concrete that officially separated the husband and wife. And it wasn't just any type of document. It was inscribed on the same material used to write the Torah scroll, the most sacred text in Judaism. This alone gives us an idea of the importance this document carried. But the process didn't stop there. For the divorce to be valid, it had to be reviewed by a rabbinical court composed of 3 rabbis specialized in matrimonial law. These rabbis were not there just to fulfill a formality. They carefully examined the case, ensuring that all aspects of the law were respected. And of course, there was the scribe, responsible for drafting the get with all the details: the date, the husband's name, the wife's name, and the place where the document was signed. What truly made the get so significant was the husband's declaration. Even if the wife was the one requesting the divorce, it was the husband who officially stated, "I am divorcing you." These words marked the definitive separation, not just on paper, but in life and within the community. In the end, the document was delivered to the wife, who was now free to remarry if she so wished. It is important to note that divorce, according to the Bible, was only valid if carried out in this manner, with the get, the court, the witnesses. Nothing less than this would suffice. A simple declaration or verbal agreement between the parties was not enough. Thus, divorce in the Bible was not a casual break, but a deeply formal and spiritual act. It was a separation that required a ritual, a public and legal acknowledgement of the dissolution of the marriage. And this process, though painful, ensured that the separation was conducted in a just and respectful manner, in accordance with divine precepts. So far, we've explored how divorce was handled within the Jewish context, with all its rituals and formalities. But what happens when we look at those who do not follow Jewish tradition, the so-called Bnei Noach, or children of Noah? These are people who, although not Jewish, follow the universal laws established for all humanity according to the Bible. For the Bnei Noach, marriage and divorce do not follow exactly the same path as they do for Jews. They do not go through the rigorous ritual of the get, nor do they require the intervention of a rabbinical court. However, this does not mean that divorce is any less serious or significant for them. Marriage among the Bnei Noach is seen as a sacred union, and when this union dissolves, a clear acknowledgement of this separation is necessary. The Bible recognizes that even without the same Jewish rituals, a Ben Noach and his Bat Noach, his daughter of Noah, his wife, can formalize divorce in a dignified and respectful manner. How is this done? Simply, but with great significance. The couple decides together that the union has come to an end, and this decision must be accompanied by a complete separation. They must go their separate ways, not only physically, but in all aspects of their lives. This means they should no longer live together under the same roof, nor continue life as if they were still married. They separate, each following their own path, free from the bonds of the past. Although the ritual of the get is not obligatory, nothing prevents a Bnei Noach couple from adopting a similar document to formalize their divorce if they wish. This document can serve as a symbol of the seriousness with which they approach the separation, even if it does not follow the same Jewish traditions. Thus, even without the court, the scribe, and the get, divorce among the Bnei Noach is an important moment of transition that should be treated with the dignity and respect this life change deserves. It is an acknowledgement that while the marriage may have ended, both are free to move forward, always in accordance with the universal principles that guide their lives. Now that we understand how divorce is formalized, whether among Jews or Bnei Noach, we arrive at a crucial question. Under what circumstances is divorce permitted or even necessary according to the Bible? What are the reasons that justify the dissolution of a marriage in the eyes of God? First, let's talk about one of the most clear-cut and discussed reasons: infidelity. When a spouse is unfaithful, the breach of trust is deep and, for many, irreparable. The Bible recognizes the devastating impact of betrayal and grants the betrayed spouse the right to seek a divorce. If the betrayed person decides they can no longer live with someone who broke this sacred trust, they are fully justified in moving forward with a divorce. However, if the betrayed person believes there is still hope and wishes to forgive, the decision to remain married is also respected. The choice is personal, but the permission for divorce is clearly established. But infidelity is not the only legitimate reason. The Bible also acknowledges the destructive impact of violence within marriage. Here, we speak not only of physical violence, which is itself an unquestionable reason for divorce, but also of verbal and emotional violence. Words can wound as deeply as actions, and when abuse becomes unbearable, the Bible allows the abused spouse to seek an exit. No one should have to live in an environment of constant humiliation or fear, and divorce, in this case, is a means of protecting the dignity and life of the sufferer. There are also marital conflicts that seem to have no resolution. All couples face challenges, and many of these challenges can be overcome with patience, love, and mutual effort. But what about when the arguments are endless, the disagreements insurmountable, and living together becomes unbearable? When a couple reaches the point where staying together does more harm than good, not only to themselves but also to their children, the Bible does not turn a blind eye to this painful reality. Divorce may be the right path when the relationship becomes detrimental to all involved. Therefore, whether due to infidelity, violence, or irreconcilable conflicts, the Bible offers a way out. Divorce, far from being a frivolous choice, is a legitimate and necessary option in situations where marriage becomes a source of pain and suffering. Thus, we see that the Bible, with its ancient wisdom, recognizes that the peace and dignity of each individual are fundamental, even if it means following separate paths. Reaching this point, we understand that the Bible permits divorce in certain situations. But this leads us to a deeper reflection. How should we view marriage and divorce in our times? What can the Bible teach us about the importance of fighting for marriage, and when, unfortunately, we must accept that divorce is the best option? Marriage is a complex journey full of challenges. It's no wonder that many couples go through difficult times when everything seems to be falling apart. But if we look at those couples who stay together for decades, who weather storms and overcome crises, we will see something in common: the determination to fight. These couples show us that, although the path is difficult, the reward can be a stronger and deeper union, built on the foundations of commitment and perseverance. The Bible does not romanticize marriage. It acknowledges that it is a union between two imperfect people, each with their flaws and weaknesses. Therefore, it teaches us that true love requires effort, patience, and often sacrifice. Before considering divorce, it is vital to exhaust all possibilities for reconciliation. Seeking help, whether through counseling or honest dialogue, can open doors to healing and new beginnings. But the Bible is also realistic. It understands that in some cases, the best option is to let go. When all attempts to rebuild the marriage have failed, when the relationship becomes a constant source of pain, separation may be the wisest decision. It is not an easy choice, and the Bible reminds us that it should be made with a heavy heart, but also with the certainty that sometimes divorce is the most loving action we can take, for ourselves and for the other person. Therefore, when considering divorce, we should do so with care, reflection, and prayer. We should seriously weigh the consequences, not just for ourselves, but for everyone around us. At the same time, we must remember that divorce, when necessary, is not a failure, but a new chance to seek peace and happiness, in line with the principles that the Bible teaches us. So, the message is clear: value your marriage, fight for it, but recognize when it's time to move on. The Bible gives us permission to choose the path that best preserves our dignity, safety, and well-being, even if it means making the difficult decision to divorce. Now that we have reached the end of this journey, it's time to reflect on everything we've learned. Divorce, according to the Bible, is a complex and delicate topic, treated with the seriousness it deserves. It is not a decision to be made lightly, but rather with deep consideration, respect, and understanding of the circumstances involved. Looking at what we've discussed, we see that the Bible offers us a balanced view of divorce. It teaches us that marriage is a sacred union, one that should be protected and cherished. However, it also recognizes that there are moments when this union may become unsustainable, moments when separation, as painful as it may be, is the best solution for both parties. Divorce in the Scriptures is permitted in cases of infidelity, violence, and irreconcilable differences, but always with the understanding that this decision should not be taken lightly. It is a last resort, a choice that comes after genuine attempts at reconciliation and healing. And when divorce becomes inevitable, the Bible guides us to approach it in a just and respectful manner, with the necessary ritual and formality to protect the dignity of everyone involved. But above all, the Bible reminds us that even after divorce, there is life and hope. It gives us the permission to start anew, to seek happiness and peace, whether alone or in a new relationship. Divorce is not the end of the road, but rather a new chapter where we can rebuild our lives according to the principles of love, respect, and integrity. And so we conclude our reflection with a clear message. Value your marriage, fight for it, but also know when it is time to move on. The Bible guides us with wisdom, showing that in all things we should seek well-being and peace for ourselves and for those we love. May we then find strength in the sacred words and make decisions that reflect the love and justice that God desires for all of us. As we delve deeper into the topic of divorce according to the Bible, we cannot ignore a crucial aspect. The impact of this decision is not limited to the couple. Divorce, though often necessary, has repercussions that ripple outward like waves on a calm lake, affecting the surrounding community, families, and especially the children. When a marriage ends, the consequences are felt at every level. Consider the children, for instance. They are the most vulnerable in the process of separation. The Bible teaches us to care for the most fragile, and it is in this spirit that we must consider the emotional and psychological impact that divorce can have on them. They may feel confused, insecure, and often wonder if they are somehow to blame for the breakup. The responsibility of the parents, therefore, is doubled to ensure that their children know they are loved and that the divorce does not diminish their worth to either parent. And the impact doesn't stop there. Divorce also reverberates through the community. In ancient societies, and still in many cultures today, marriage is not just a union between two people, but an alliance between families and even entire communities. When this alliance is broken, there is a rupture that can be felt by all. Friends, neighbors, members of the congregation, all can be touched by the pain and division that divorce brings. The Bible recognizes this reality and, in allowing divorce in certain situations, also calls us to handle these consequences with care and compassion. The community has a vital role in supporting those going through a divorce, helping to heal wounds and maintain social cohesion, even in the face of separation. The message here is clear. Divorce, while a personal decision, has a collective impact. And as a community, we must be prepared to offer support, understanding, and love to all those involved, especially the children who bear the emotional scars of this separation. The Bible teaches us that even in the midst of the pain of separation, it is possible to find paths to healing and reconciliation within the community, ensuring that everyone can move forward in a healthy and balanced way. As we reach the end of this journey, there is a theme we cannot overlook: redemption and the possibility of a new beginning. After divorce, when everything seems shattered, the Bible offers a message of hope and renewal. Divorce can be a devastating experience, leaving deep scars. However, the scriptures remind us that even in the midst of darkness, there is always the promise of light. The Bible is filled with stories of redemption, stories of people who, after falling, found the strength to rise again. And this promise of redemption extends to all of us. After the pain of divorce, life does not have to stop. On the contrary, the Bible teaches us that it is possible to start over, rebuild, and find peace once again. This new beginning is not just about finding a new partner or forming a new family, but also about healing internally, renewing your faith, and rediscovering your purpose. It is a journey of personal transformation where you can learn from the past and use that wisdom to shape a brighter future. God, in His infinite mercy, offers us the gift of forgiveness. Forgiveness for the mistakes made, both by others and by ourselves. This forgiveness is the first step toward healing. And with healing comes the opportunity for a new beginning, a new life, built on the foundations of love, understanding, and renewed faith. Therefore, the Bible's final message is clear. Divorce, as painful as it may be, is not the end of the road. It is a bend in the path, an opportunity to redirect your life and seek a way that leads to peace and fulfillment. With faith, courage, and the support of the community, it is possible to transform pain into growth, mourning into learning, and the end of a marriage into the beginning of a new and promising chapter of life. So remember, even when the night seems darkest, dawn always comes. And with it, new opportunities, new dreams stack, and the assurance that with God there is always a new beginning waiting.